Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome on in. Welcome to Brief Live with Ivy Wilcher, my friend, educator extraordinaire, like all the things, right? Wife, mother, all the things. But first, I am Dara Adams. I champion economic empowerment for women on assignment through brand and business strategies that help them feel seen, be seen, and show up on their journey to more in their most authentic self. Now I'm going to hand the floor over to you. Ivy, please introduce us to who you are and what you do.
Hey y'all, I am so excited to be here and just have this conversation with you all. Thank you for creating space, Dara, for this dialogue. It really means so much to me. I'm all about just us connecting as women, entrepreneurs, and just talking about all things educational. But I am Ivy. I am an educator. I'm a special education advocate, and I am the founder of Next Scholar Up. I spent years working with students with learning differences. And honestly, this work is just not a job for me, it's a calling. I really truly believe that God placed me in education and He put me in this space for my light to shine and for me to advocate for kids who are often overlooked. Whether it's teaching, mentoring, building community, my goal is always just to serve. And since I've been connected with you, God has highlighted like what that really means to be of service. So all of the work that I've been doing with Next Scholar Up is to empower our youth so that they can see themselves the way that God sees them. So it's just full of purpose, value, and helping our youth see their fullest potential.
Love that. Y'all, she's really about that life. There are very few people that I can vouch for in the education sector that is really just empowering people on all levels, right? Parents, teachers, and students. Like she's literally doing all three at all times. Ivy is never not moving. She's never not learning. She's never not at a conference. She's never not investing. She's never not investing in her family, her children, her child prophecy here, her child's education and everything. So I'm really like when I be moving, I feel like I gotta do something. I gotta amp my walk up because the things you do is just it's amazing. So I wanted to start out with just your background in education and entrepreneurship, like the intersectionality between education and entrepreneurship. Why entrepreneurship is important in education, and why education is important inside of entrepreneurship.
Well, for me, I feel like education and entrepreneurship are both deeply connected. Everything I do, whether it's in a classroom or in a community, it requires some level of creativity, some level of problem solving, and just for you to have a vision. And I really don't take that lightly, and I try to pray over every idea, every student, and every opportunity that come my way. When God put in my heart for Next Scholar Up to come about, it was born out of a need that I saw in my own
Mm.
community. So I just feel like I just had to trust God to show me how to fill that gap. So education for me is like the soil that is planted into a seed, right? Into that we planted seeds. And entrepreneurship is the structure that we build around it. So through faith, I'm just able to fuel all of that and just keep going. So it's like you really can't separate the two as they come together. You need all of
Mhm.
it for it to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. So with entrepreneurship and just your role in education and just seeing and experiencing students, right? I'm from Gary, Indiana. My family's from Gary, Indiana. I know you've lived there. Are you from Gary, Indiana? Or you just live there.
I worked there and I've
You
become,
work there.
I feel like they adopted me. Like that, the 2 years I spent
Had
working there,
to.
it was like, I'm from GI. You can't tell me nothing else. I'm from Gary.
I love that, but two, I appreciate that, right? There's not a lot of good things that people say about Gary, but Gary is an amazing place. A lot of businesses are birthed out of Gary, Indiana. A lot of people who have gone on to do amazing things have come out of Gary, Indiana. So the fact that you came to Gary, Indiana and stayed in Gary, Indiana to do the work in Gary, Indiana just speaks to the type of person you are. I did work in a alternative school for 2 years, and my God, like I was like, "Deuces," and the babies was like, "Miss," I was Miss Jackson at the time. "Miss Jackson, you leaving us like everybody else." I said, "Lord, you gonna have to send somebody like Sister Ivy who has the patience and the skill and the expertise because these kids lost in the educational system. They had struggled with their learning and no one was there to advocate for them. And I felt so helpless in that space. So what you're doing is important. So for me, my question is, do you think that entrepreneurship should be a core class, especially in the urban school settings?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. And I've even seen that over the last 5 years, career and technical education, which is also known as CTE, has been a
Mhm.
huge component that's been infused in educational pathways for high school students. Our students are learning entrepreneurship as early as fourth grade. So,
Mm,
yes, I do believe that entrepreneurship should be taught not just as a business skill, but also a mindset,
yeah.
especially in our urban communities like Gary, Indiana. Our students need to know that what they were created to do, and that's to lead, to innovate, and to build. And many of them are already navigating these spaces, and sometimes it don't look the way that we want it to look. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, but giving a person like myself or you, show them how to hone in those skills and use them
Mhm.
legally in the right space, they can go on to create their own paths, which is essential. And I feel like entrepreneurship teaches problem solving, it
Mhm.
teaches financial literacy and resilience, and it just helps our kids to think beyond surviving. And it helps them to
Ooh.
start actually envisioning what it looks like to thrive. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of mindset I feel like is powerful. And for many of our kids, it's life changing. Like they need to know that it's more to life than a hustle. Like you could turn a hustle into a corporate company. But if they don't have the mindset to see themselves outside of a hustle into something that can be formatted and structured where they can have a conglomerate, then what are they doing? They're going to just keep chasing the hustle. And we all want to live beyond the hustle. Amen. So
Yeah.
I do feel like it's important. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, for it, that is so good. It takes them from surviving to thriving, right? It gives them a clear and direct path to
Mhm.
ownership, and not just ownership of things, right? Ownership of themselves. My mind is capable of creating and coming up with something and being beneficial for the entire world. If
Not
we
just
can
the
give
self.
not just themselves, and if we can give children that perspective, like, okay, I see what you're doing here, but let me redirect you in a way that allows these skill sets that you have. Because I think a lot of times we tell kids no, or that's bad, or whatever, and we shut down the whole operation
Mhm.
instead of saying, let's come on in here and redirect and fix what you got going on here to make it make sense for who you are.
Yeah, and it's awesome you like gave that example because that's essentially, and I know we're not there yet in the conversation, but
Oh, go
that's
ahead.
essentially what my mentorship workbook is about. That is going to be on pre-sale. That is on pre-sale now. It gives educators, community organizers, parents, and anyone who work with youth the tools they need to start those organic conversations with youth and directing them in the right path to have that mindset to entrepreneurship or just setting goals to finish high school or setting goals to plan out their life. This workbook, Mentorship That Matters, it's a framework that derived from my TED talk that I did last October at IU in Gary, Indiana. That's all about mentorship. Like it's important that youth have somebody in their corner, walking alongside them, letting them know that you have a good idea and this is how we're going to fine tune it. And this
Yeah.
workbook is it's the tool that's going to help people start those meaningful conversations with you.
I love that, and I love that it speaks to teachers not just showing up to teach, but showing up to change lives, like literally change lives. And
Yes.
living your life in a way that allows you to have the space and the capacity to open up your mind to the creativity to the of the people that you're serving, and allowing these children to spark how you teach, how you educate, so that you can even become better at how you lead, in the classroom. And leads me to this thought. I was 3 years old when I became an entrepreneur. I had a fanny pack and I had bracelets that I had made in my bag.
Mm.
And I knew from there, like I was going to be an entrepreneur up until the age of 8. I took the headboard off of my bed, put it outside. It had these little shelves in it. I put snacks from the grocery store, and I had juices and chips. And I let all the people come by, the truckers and everything, and they were purchasing snacks and juices from me. From on there, I had clothing lines. I had all. Oh Lord, I was all over the place. But it made me who I am today, and it gave me what I needed to be an entrepreneur. So for me, naturally, I see how my child learns. I see how my child wakes up. I see how he moves and operates. And I'm like, okay, I think my child is going to be an entrepreneur. How can a parent begin having those conversations with the child and really setting up an environment to incubate, their creativity so that they can be, start exploring that option, right? He's a junior in high school. So we our time is limited to figure out, sorry, what you about to go on and do.
I think it's about just being an active listener because sometimes
Mm,
like we don't spend enough time listening to our children.
that's
And I
good.
think a lot of times we want to give them a device and we want to put them into a program to let somebody else teach them, but we are our children's first teachers.
That's good.
And spending that time over dinner talking about school and something may spark that child share with you and you make connections thereafter. We all know people who do business. We all know people that have something going on that could benefit our child, but you can't lead and guide your child in the right direction if you don't hear from them. And
That's
I know
good.
some of us grew up in a culture where children are seen and not heard, but I feel like
Mhm.
some of that we need to rethink the way that we invite our children into
Oh, yeah.
conversations about family planning and future life goals because
Yeah.
are so much far advanced than we were. Like they have access to so much information. And as a family, I think those are things that we just need to entertain. Like we need to entertain them and then steer them in the right direction. Like every conversation doesn't have to be one that's disciplinary. You know, you can invite creativity in your
That's
home,
so good. Yeah.
listen to your children.
That's excellent. That was I mean, that definitely sparked I believe I listened to my child, right? Naturally, you're gonna be like, I hear my kids, but now it's making me want to go and be like, what you say? Like
And
an
you don't
intently
need a
listen.
filter because it take them a while to get to their point. So you have to activate the spirit of patience. The fruits of the spirit definitely need to be activated when you speaking with kids because they're so anxious. This group, this culture of kids that's being birthed now, they're extremely anxious. So as adults, like we have to ask the Holy Ghost to
Yeah.
move in our home so that we can have the patience to be active listeners with our kids. And you never know what a birth from that conversation. Like even you were a huge part in helping me rebrand Next Scholar Up. And I remember sitting at the table with you having a branding marketing conversation, and my son was on the Zoom with us, and he was giving us ideas on how we could,
Mhm.
you know, design a logo for Next Scholar Up. And he was like, "Can we put a star on it?" And even though at that
You
time you
did.
was signing it and you was doing your thing, Dara, like I feel so blessed just to know you because you can
Thank you,
take a
Lord.
fraction of an idea and turn it into something that I would have never imagined. And till this day, he still be like, I remember when Dara took my idea. That's my idea, that star. So every time he see the
Thank
Next
you,
Scholar Up
Lord.
logo, he feels a part of the business. He feels like he was a part of the creativity. But I don't think that could have been if you were not active listening and he was engaged
Oh,
in
man.
conversation.
Oh,
So
you made
I
me
really
cry.
thank God for you. And he been started little businesses, t-shirt business and things that he has going, but it's because of we invited him into that space of creativity. So I really thank God for you.
Oh my God, I love that. And I just heard Holy Spirit. Josiah has a $250 scholarship coming up for him, Made for More. So I'm going to send that over to you. Get my baby a bank account to
Thank you.
start his college fund so that he can
Amen.
continue to shape and shift his ideas in the culture and in the community. Oh, that just blessed my whole soul. My God, I'm so done. I want to get off and cry. My last question is, what's some of the monumental work that you're doing with NSU? How can people connect with you? And let's reiterate again how we can get your new workbook that I had a chance of reading, going over, and designing with you.
One
I
design.
mean, Ivy makes books, y'all. These ain't no little 1, 2, 3 guides that you get and you throw to these are, I mean, novels almost. Okay, you cannot go wrong. Please go tell us all the things.
Well, God has really been ordering our steps in this season, and we taking scholars to motorsports events where they were able to see STEM careers in action, up close and personal. And actually, this October, we're headed back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but this time we're not going alone. Next Scholar Up is partnering with a powerful consortium and other small business owners in Gary, Indiana, called the Youthiverse Collective. So I got that coming up in October. Together, we're creating a one of a kind experience that blends entrepreneurship, STEM, and mentorship. And most importantly, it's going to show our kids that there's no limit to what they can do when they lean into their gifts, their faith, and their community. So that's October. But we're launching a podcast also, and I'm releasing my new mentorship book that I spoke about earlier, Mentorship That Matters. And we're expanding our programs to just reach more families, especially those navigating special education. So every project is going to be designed with love, intention, purpose, because truly, I just believe our kids deserve access. Like that's what it's all about. I know there's some things going on with the Trump administration, but I don't want you guys to be blindsided by that. You know, Next Scholar Up is here to support parents in light of what you see going on in the news. So I'm going to continue to expose and advocate and fight for our kids. If you want to get a hold of the Mentorship That Matters workbook, you can go to nextscholarup.com. You want to look at the right hand corner and see three little dots. You're going to click on that, go to shop, and you can pre order our book. I plan on shipping those books out first week of April, April 5th, but I'm taking pre sale orders now. So head to Next Scholar Up
Yay.
and you can get your hands on it.
I love that so much. Please, 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 if you are in the education field, the STEM field, learning, anything that has to do with learning, please reach out to her. She does keynotes, she does workshops, she knows her stuff, she shows up, she does the work. I am vouching for her. She is amazing. She is a woman of God. She keeps her word, and I am just so proud of you, what you're doing, and I'm so, so grateful that I'm connected to you and your entire family, your whole lineage, okay? You're doing amazing things. I'm proud of you, and it's been real. It's been real talking to you. I'm gonna hop off of here so I can get my stuff together to give Josiah his stuff, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for joining us for Brief Live.